why should I said, listen, we know so many Muslims from Malaysia are going to Australia and Europe and these places to seek
Knowledge.
you know, the knowledge or education over there. I said, you teach them aqidah, you teach them some of the core principles of Islam, you empower them with this, so that way when they get, you know, that secular knowledge, they get the Western education, they're already well founded in their own Islamic nature. So before you tell them to go ahead and learn the Western civilization and language, really got to teach them your own mother's tongue.
Yes.
You know, really got to make them all grounded in your own civilization. The guy doesn't know the seerah of the Prophet. So now he's going to be learning King Louis and King Henry and King Harry and all of these people. Yeah, he doesn't know Salahuddin.
Yeah.
See, for me, you know, alhamdulillah, I don't have an inferiority complex, and I believe people like Salahuddin and Harun al-Rashid and Umar radiallahu were the best people to ever walk after the prophets. You know.
Yes.
I'm going to learn about them, and I'm going to try to implement how they implement. If I ever become in a position of power or politics, I'm going to do that.
Yes.
That's the major problem of Muslims, the inferiority complex.
I mean, blonde hair, white skin, selling Malaysian stuff. I'm like, Maggie Goreng, who's eating it? White kid. Like, you should have a Chinese kid eating Maggie. You know? So, like, you know, tuition. I even one masjid I went to, and they were doing like tuition, Quran tuition. Who's there? A bunch of kids, you know, white kids, blonde hair. I'm like, you know, am I going to be teaching these kind of kids? Yeah, am I going to be teaching these kind of kids, or I'm going to be teaching, you know, kids like this? But that's the reality, right? Because I guess marketing and I don't. I have a different approach, and it's like asking, can we learn the Bible, and you don't know a single surah of the Quran?
Yes.
No right-minded person will tell you, yeah, you can study the Bible. MashaAllah. How many surahs you know? Surah Fatiha and Qul Huwallahu Ahad. How does that make sense? Memorize the Quran or learn the Quran and the science of it, and then go ahead and into the science of whatever, Bible and the Hindu stuff. Yeah, why not? If it's beneficial, go ahead. Priority. You gotta prioritize.
It's not sinful, right?
What's not sinful? It's sinful. I just told you it's sinful.
To seek knowledge and
You have to prioritize. If you don't prioritize, in Islam it's about priority. Even if there's two hukm of Allah comes to you and you only can execute one, you execute the one with the highest priority. Right? So for example, like you obeying your parents and you going for Hajj, which is fard, and you have the means and everything, right? And your parents saying no, but you must go. You think this is not going to happen? Wallah, I just had a question like that. Which one do you... So, obedience to parents. Or probably that doesn't fall under this category. That falls under conflict. But, let's say you're reading the Quran while the adhan is happening. Right? Which one do you give priority? To the adhan. There's so many examples, it's just not coming to my head. Anyway, the thing is, there's a qa'idah in Islam that says you give priority to that which has the highest reward or the highest importance. If there's two things and you can only do one, you give priority to that which. And if you have time, go ahead to the other. And when it comes to sin, you must commit one sin. You must commit one sin. I mean, you're confronted in a situation where you have to commit one of these two sins. Which one do you take? The lowest of the sin. The lesser of the sins. Yeah, so not everything in life is about intention, okay? A lot of people, they get this mixed up. You can do this as long as your intention is good. No. Who said that? Which sane person says you can do this as long as your intention is good? Well, you know what? Your husband is going to marry a second and third and fourth wife, and his intention is good. Are you going to accept that? No, you're not going to accept it. You're not going to accept it. His intention is noble. Will you accept it? No. So it's not about intention. It's about the methodology, the action as well. The way, what, all of this. Intention is one of them. So, you know, me picking up a woman to transport her from one place to another place, my intention is good, but is that correct? No, it's not correct. I'm telling a sister, I love you for the sake of Allah. I miss you. My intention is good. But is that correct, both from a human or moral or marital or Islamic? Like all of this intention is, we have a wrong concept about intention. Wrong. There's a few. Where does it come from? It comes from the liberals. It comes from these feminists. It comes from these people who have taken out Allah, God, from their actions. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, all of this. Why? Because they don't want to live with the consequences, right? We live in a society where we don't want to blame ourselves. Why are you fat? My genes are fat. It's in my gene. You look at the person's food and what they're eating. Because you know, there was a huge so-called study saying, oh no, it's not a matter of choice, it's just our genes. We were born like that, right? Really? And the guy eats all kinds of, you know, fast food, and because we just don't want to be responsible for our actions, so we use things such as intention. But my intention was good. Diabetes. Look at the guy. What is he eating? If he was born with diabetes, all right. If he was born obese, but then again, who? The parents, maybe, right? And what she was eating and so on. Nowadays is homosexuality. I was born. There's a gene, it's called homosexual gene. Really? Allah made it said, you know what? We put homosexuality in there. Yes, some people may have homosexual tendencies, but that is where Islam comes in. You cap it up. Cap it. That's where the Islamic discipline is. Okay. Some people have the tendency of killing people. Why not? They do. Some people have the tendency of beating up people. Islam comes in and cap it. Yeah. Must I express everything? Some people have tendency to lust after little kids. You know, there's a TED Talk. You guys know what's a TED Talk?
Yes.
About child molestation, how it should be okay. I talked about this one 2-3 years ago. I said, Wallahi, you're going to have people who are saying, what is it? Child molestation. Pedophilia is okay. Should be okay. Wallahi, now I just heard a TED Talk. And this woman is sympathizing. And that's just the beginning. And you will see. You will see. It started out with what? It started out with homosexuality, then they went to bestiality. In Germany, a man is suing the court for saying, you know, I have the right to marry my dog. In Florida, Mr. Clifford marries a dog.
In
Mr.
India,
Clifford, do you take this dog to be your lawfully wedded wife? He says, yes. Mrs. Dog, do you take Mr. Clifford to be your lawfully wedded husband? And then she barks.
She barks.
Yeah? You guys think this is a joke. This is reality.
Sick. That's not just sick, the sick here as well.
No, it's sick everywhere. This is sick.
Yeah.
Everything is sick. The Prophet ﷺ says, "Inna fil jasadi mudghah." Verily, in the heart there is a piece of flesh. إذا صلح صلح الجسد كله. If this heart is salih, if it's righteous, if it's good, the whole body is right. And if this heart fasadat, if this heart becomes corrupt, the whole body becomes corrupt. Who is the ultimate controller of the actions of our body? Not the brain. Not the brain. It's the heart. That's why you see some woman, a husband, a man comes and proposes to her. Everything is good. Good looks, good money, good body, everything is good. And then she still refuses. Why? The brain is saying yes. The heart is saying no. She said, oh, my heart. I said no. The brain, the rational said, well, everything checks out. Something is off about this guy. Something is off. So who do you listen to? The heart. And then there's another guy. He's poor. He's not so good looking. And then you see a beautiful woman with. Oh, the men are like, what does she see? It's not what does she see. It's not what she sees. It's the heart. It's a matter of the heart. Ultimately, we decide and we think with our heart, not with our brains. These people, dead heart, corrupt heart. So they'll kill 1 million babies. Yeah. The US has killed 1 million babies in Iraq between 1991 and 2003. 1 million babies. And when they were asked, is it worth it? They said, yes, it was worth it. 1 million babies. Now you tell me any Muslim deviant groups out there, do they do that? And then you say, we should not hate them. We should hate the sin. That, for me, doesn't make sense. It's like saying, we shouldn't hate the pork, but just hate the meat, but not... It doesn't make sense.
We shouldn't hate the animal. But
you should not hate... I don't know how to even explain it, but it doesn't make sense to me. You know? Like, why are you hating this, piggy? Piggy is not his fault that he's a piggy. It's not his fault. You have Muslims. Why? Because the way they think is like... No, I don't understand how they're thinking.
No.
Forgive.
Apologetic. We were brought up to be apologetic.
Yes.
Apologetic.
Soft.
I don't hate you, but I hate the things you do. Even to your children, you say them, I love you, but I don't like that you do this. Yeah. So indirectly.
Oh, okay. So then do you also? So that's the principle, right?
Yeah.
So then we also let's do the same principle, but we apply it in love. I don't love you, but I love the things you do for me. You tell your husband, I don't love you, but
I love your money.
do for me.
I love your money.
I love you. So why can't we apply this in that as well? You see how that it just doesn't make sense? Because when you go deeper, you will find so much contradiction.
Yes. I find that contradictory because if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. I think it was Mufti Ming, or maybe it could be a done up poster that you don't hate the person, but you hate the sinner because that person can be one day better than you. So I'm thinking, I'm thinking that day comes, then we love him again, right?
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So now, for example, some people say, well, how do you know he's not going to Jannah?
Yeah, that kind of.
Right? And I said that's they say not yet Muslim.
Yeah.
First of all, we're brought in many different. First, we're brought in soft Islam. Soft Islam. Islam, everything is soft, loving, and flowers and chocolates and hearts. That's not Islam. If maybe one day, inshallah, we'll go over the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. If you were to learn the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, you will find, oh man, half of his seerah, or maybe not like 10 years, you will find killing, destruction, chopping off heads by the Prophet. into pits.
Mm.
Okay? And then you're like, this is not what I learned. And then you're faced with this. And some of the things he said, the Prophet ﷺ, some of the things he did. He said, kill so and so even if he's wrapped in the sheet of the Kaaba, or if he's clinging onto the Kaaba. It's like, wow, how is this Prophet of mercy? I didn't know him. Of course, he only knew half of Islam, or half of the Prophet. Allah is mercy, and you don't talk about his adab and his. You always talk about Jannah and all those ahadith that has to pertain with a man, a person whose tongue is on fire, and there's a snake that's wrapped around him and biting him on his face, and a person whose lips are sealed with the bridle of Jahannam, and so on and so on. These things we don't hear. We only want to, because we want to live in a bubble, and Islam is like this, and then when you see something that is to you un-Islamic, you go ahead and reject it, not knowing you're rejecting something of Islam. Maybe that will take you out of Islam. I tell people like this: if you're afraid to speak the truth, don't clap for batil. So when you see a certain group or a certain people or someone practicing Islam in a certain way that you don't know more than your outer, circle, and you reject that, maybe you're rejecting something that's part of Islam. Just like the Prophet ﷺ told us our behavior with regards to the Torah and the Injil, right? He said, don't believe in it and don't reject it. Because you may reject something which is from Allah, and you may believe in it which is not from Allah. So what's our attitude? We say we believe in what Allah has revealed. That's it. We don't. So if that is with the Bible and with the Torah and the Injil, what about in Islam? What about in Islam? So this soft Islam and apologetic Islam, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of living it. I'm tired. No, but that doesn't mean we put that person down or we look down upon it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah? We don't make dua for him. The kuffar are kuffar, but that doesn't mean now I'm going to go and put nails on their street or put banana peels so that way they can split. No, see, some people, they have the wrong understanding that just because we hate the kuffar or we hate the sin, that we don't make dua for them. The Prophet made dua for us. You see, he went and visited them. He went and when they were sick, he visited them. When they needed da'wah, he went and gave them da'wah. It doesn't mean any of that. Okay? We have to do that. So we have the two extremes, right? We have one extreme that you guys described, love this, but not the. That's the Christian belief. And then we have the other extreme in which that says, well, we kill them everywhere we see them and we spit at them. And no, Islam we say is the middle path. And then people say, well, the middle path is you love them. No, that's not the middle path. Middle path is we hate the kuffar while making dua for them. And there's no such thing. I find this so contradictory to say we love them but we hate the sin. It's very, very